A few people have said it to me, and I've been watching a video this morning on YouTube, but apparently this car is four-wheel steer. So in a minute when Olivia's up, I'm going to get her to turn the steering wheel. We're going to watch and see if we can see the wheels pivoting on the back. But I can't see without getting wet underneath how it does it. We have got rain. We haven't had proper rain though for a few weeks, so quite glad of it. The only thing is, it is James's birthday, and yesterday was like cracking weather. We're having a bit of a party at Charlotte's holiday let that has fantastic views across the hills, but not when it's a grey, rainy day. So we'll see anyway what it looks like in a bit. Dad is just emptying this drying floor. So don't normally show you in here because it's normally he's backwards and forwards with the telehandler in the way. But basically this bay, we fill it up depending on how many times we want to empty it. So if we're doing it every day, we fill it about a metre deep, which is the height of a panel. He did it 2 metres deep on Saturday, so sort of like this high. And that way then it would take 48 hours to dry, so he didn't have to swap the chip round yesterday. So it comes in here about 50% moisture, and it dries it to around 20. So that's all nicely crispy dry now. It's just the same as the grain drying floors really, just what's called bridge plate. It's getting a little bit damaged, but that's probably because it gets so much traffic, and we perhaps didn't have enough steel work underneath it. Can you see how it's got a bit of a rippling effect with the telehandler wheels run? We did also, I think as well, the cherry picker has narrow wheels, and that did squash it a little bit as well once. There he is now, getting ready to come in and scoop up another load. Dad says we've had 6 mil of rain so far, so I'm going to go and see if we can see the sunflowers poking through. Put some slug pellets on them last week because slugs absolutely love sunflowers, and although it was still quite dry, I just didn't want them nipping them off, because you don't sow a very high seed rate, so you don't have to eat much for them to disappear. Also the pigeons like having a go at them, but we have got a gas gun on them. There we go, got one here. Something has nibbled it. You can see plenty of slug pellets around it. Another one there, slightly chewed again, but you can see slug pellets. One's just come out there. We did give them quite a heavy dose of ferric phosphate. That one, not chewed again. Loads of slug pellets. There we go, there's quite a few here. They all have been nipped a little bit though. It's not so bad if they take the leaf, it's just if they take the centre and they take the growth point out. Well, that's nice to see, or they're a little bit more developed here. So that's a good sign. This one is already at 3 leaves. Despite having 6 mil of rain, it's actually walking relatively dry. This is a variety that we're going to combine, so we're going to grow it as a commercial crop, and we're going to put fungicide on it so the seeds don't rot. Because in other years, because I've had it as a maze and people have been walking through it, I didn't want to drive through it with a sprayer and make paths, or spray it just before they're going to walk through it. So they kind of just got left, but because of that then, they'd get disease in the head and they'd just go all mouldy before they were harvested. I think this variety as well grows a little bit quicker. So we'll see, and hopefully should be able to harvest them. Just looking here, there's quite a lot here. Must be where the drill ends, a bit of an overlap perhaps. But no, that's good to see. We'll keep an eye on them over the next few weeks and see how they go. I probably need to put a little bit of fertiliser on them as well. Just about see where the buggy's been when it put the slug pellets on. But despite it weighing a ton, you can't really see where it's driven, which is good. And it's obviously a lot more comfortable to drive. Piece of random metal. It's obviously a lot more comfortable to drive than a quad, putting slug pellets off, especially if it's cold weather. Obviously it's not cold in the spring, but sometimes in the autumn it can be. Yeah, this is where the gas gun's set up. Just on the edge of the field, sort of blasting through that gap, so it can't be seen from the road, but also keeps the pigeons off. This field of wheat here was a little bit sort of pigeon grazed along under these trees. Lies wet all winter because it doesn't get any sunlight. Oh, there's the gas gun just gone off. I'll go off again in a minute. Anyway, we stitched in some wheat seed, so these shorter rows, a little bit behind, less tillers than the thicker stuff there. That's obviously now growing, so come harvest, it'll probably catch up. You can see Here it's just a lot more behind that bit, but at least it's not bare ground with nothing. That is the nice thing about a direct drill. You can drive straight through a crop and not damage the other bit. Remember last year we actually drove through a field of wheat and sowed barley in between, spring barley, just to see if we could double crop it. But what actually happened is the barley ended up coming ripe at the same time as the wheat, and we ended up with a bit of a mixed bag. The summer barley this year I'm thinking of putting on with the fertiliser spreader rather than drilling it, because then I could do it maybe 3 weeks before we'd combine the barley and it'd give it a 3-week head start. We'll just have to keep an eye on the weather. If we're going to broadcast it on, it really needs to rain straight away. But we'll see. If not, we'll just do it how we've normally done it. Or maybe we do a trial and do half. Problem with doing that though, it means taking the combine twice to the field. Never showed you this after he'd finished. The wheels obviously got a little bit mucky, but the rest of it is looking pretty shiny after Andrew washed it the other day. We didn't wash the toolbar, which is what you'd call the bit with the discs on, because there's lots of bearings and stuff in there and we just don't like to expose it to any more moisture. But there's no real way of cleaning it, I suppose. Like, you can't. I suppose we could wash it and then put it on the drying floor and it'll dry it out pretty quickly, but if it's going to be parked up and not used till September or maybe August when we're drilling OSR, we'll just leave it as it is. But the rest of it's fairly shiny. It's not done a bad job. Tractors are still a bit mucky though, but never mind. It's going out spreading fertiliser again soon. So there we go. But if you watch this clip now, we might not need tractors in the future. It's pretty cool that, and it actually has a class track system underneath it, so it's track similar to what's under the class combines and obviously the class tractors. Who thinks it's the future? Wouldn't be much fun if you can't send a tractor though, would it? I'm not sure if you've noticed, but someone keeps leaving a comment under the video saying it's day 2, day 3, day 4 of reminding Ollie about the cool wall. Here is the cool wall. We haven't put anything on it for ages. We're going to do something with Tom when we next make his brush, but we've never finished his bucket brush off, but if we do, we will do. Don't just put that up there, because Andrew did have a Skoda, but now he's got an Audi. But what do we need to put on it? We need to know what tractors you want to see on it. So let us know in the comments your favourite tractor that's Sub-Zero, cool, uncool, or serious uncool, or cow spec. So you'll have to leave the name of the tractor and then what it actually is to you, and then we'll get some printed out and we'll put some on next week maybe. Little bit of 1690 update. It's currently getting used as a rack for random things like grease guns, paint brushes, anything really. We've not done anything with it for months, but we have got the new gearbox to go on it, so we will get on with that pretty soon. In fact, there's the parts off the chipper. I bet Rob's been looking for them. Put them on the bench. Bit of an early birthday bumper because I've got to go and pick the food up for James's birthday party. Anyway, James is 1. Millie Williams. Andrew Downs is 54. We've got an anonymous on here. Don't know who it is, but it just says anonymous. Says the husband loves the videos. Laura Henley's on here. Morgan Hughes is 8. And Richard Cornick, the funky farmer, is 55. I've left a gap here, so if anyone is late to the birthday bumper today, their name's going to appear. Let me just get it still. There. Such a reflection off them window lights. Right. She's wobbling the steering wheel. Something's happening. I don't know what, but it doesn't move much. It definitely wobbles. Might be a grey day, but there is still a long view. And you can still see the Manchester skyline. So we're just emptying the boot now, putting the empty boxes back in. Just gonna park the car in the field out the way, and people that bring in prams and other children have got somewhere to park. There we go. It's out of the way. Other people can park there, you see. So it's James's birthday party, and there's quite a lot of cars here because it's obviously his first birthday party, kind of an engagement party, and also a housewarming for the holiday let. the people in the houses up there have complained because when it was being built, these road planes were put in so that they could turn the skip wagons round, unload diggers, store materials. Anyway, it's all been finished now and tarmacked, but on the planning permission, these road planings are supposed to be grass. Now it's been left as road planings because it just makes it that bit safer for turning round to come in and out the gate. And it also means if you have got more than maybe 3 cars, which would probably fit on the tarmac, you can park them down there out the way. So we could put some nice gravel on it or green grasscrete or something. This is field, just rough grazing land, which I've parked on and a few others. And then anyone else that's turned up, because there's not enough parking, have parked on the road, right? Problem is now, it's narrowed the road off slightly. Showing Amanda here. So the guy that lives in the house down there has been out taking pictures of the cars parked, because he's the one that's complained to the council. She's now got to apply for planning permission, saying it's an illegal parking. Now, if I lived there, I would sooner these cars be parked in there out the way than all down this road. But he's just a Nimby, obviously, and doesn't like change. So Charlotte's now got to the expense of, there's the planning notice, of now applying for planning permission for that little bit of stone there that's doing no harm to anyone. And it's far safer than parking on the road. Charlotte's friend, as a little girl, about 2, she wasn't very happy with this guy taking pictures, and he didn't like it when she said, why are you taking pictures of the children? So anyway, don't know what his motives are. He's obviously going to email the council and go, look at these cars parked illegally. Well, you can do whatever you want for 28 days on the land that you own. So James ain't going to be one every 28 days, is he? But there we go. Just a frustrating thing that you get. Just ask Clarkson, watch Clarkson's farm, and you'll know what locals can do to just basically cost people money and be menaces. So let's see how the ranger gets up the hill. No problem. Yeah, so that guy now that was obviously like complaining, I mean, in the next 10 minutes there'll be nothing left here. What an idiot. Put the old John Deere back in the boot. Try and keep it under that so I can see in the back mirror. There we go, as if no one has ever been here. So anyway, thanks for watching today, and I'll see you all tomorrow.